Hello from Ohio and welcome to the Digital Making at Home live stream. I'm Matt.
Hi, and I'm Christina joining from Nebraska.
We're from the Raspberry Pi Foundation, and whether you're here for the first time or you're joining us again, we are so delighted to have you here with us. This live stream is all about coding together, but before we jump into that and while we introduce what this is all about, please let us know in the chat where you're watching us from. We're broadcasting live to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch right now, and we'll be able to see your comments. If you're watching on raspberrypi.org, you can click the title of this video to head over to YouTube to join the chat. So for those of you who are new, Digital Making at Home is all about getting young people just like you coding and creating with technology. Every week we live stream digital projects for you to explore. These can be using technologies like Scratch, Python, or even hardware like Raspberry Pi. There it is. Today we'll continue with another Scratch project. And we've got thousands of kids coding all over the world. And for the next few weeks, we have special live shows which are timed for those of you who are in North America. Though, of course, we welcome everyone from all over the globe, no matter what time it is. This is thanks to our partners at Infosys Foundation USA, who have a mission to expand computer science and maker education to students and teachers all over the country. So for the parents and teachers out there, you can access free computing and maker education resources through their Pathfinders Online Institute. So thank you to Infosys Foundation USA, and make sure to check out that link below so that you can see what they're up to. So Christina, as you know, on our project site, we just uploaded a ton of free projects which focus on wellness. Which one are we going to work on today?
Yeah, Matt. So we're going to be doing our second project in our Look After Yourself pathway. So this is a butterfly garden project. I know I'm really excited about it because it's starting to get colder. So my actual garden is lacking butterflies. So I'm excited to create a peaceful, relaxing butterfly garden scene together.
That is awesome. I can't wait. And all of you can code along with us, and we want to hear how it's going. You can use the chat box, and I'll be keeping an eye on it throughout tonight's stream. Speaking of chat box, I see that some of you have said hello already. A lot of you across Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube have said hello. So big shout out to Brendan in Cape Cod, Rachel in Mississippi Gulf Coast, Octopus Winslow in Pennsylvania. Welcome over on YouTube. Prism from Foster City, California. We've got Anna in San Francisco joining us. Hello, everybody. Eddie, hi. Kevin, hello. It's great to have all of you joining us. Keep the chat going. We want to hear how you're doing. Say hello to each other. And why don't we get started, Christina?
Yeah, let's jump right in. Matt, if you can share my screen.
There you go.
Excellent. Thank you. We're going to be coding in Scratch today. So Scratch is an awesome beginner-friendly block-based coding language. If you've never used Scratch before or you're a beginner, welcome. We're so excited. If you're joining us again and you were coding with us last week, welcome back. I'm so glad you are here. So let's start with Scratch. This is scratch.mit.edu. And then what I'm going to be doing, there's a lot of great resources and stuff. This is a free platform we're going to be using. And I'm going to go ahead and click Create because we are going to create today in the top left here. And this is going to take us to where we are going to code. So we're going to be coding the Butterfly Garden project. This is the second project in our Look After Yourself pathway. And what we're going to be doing in this project, we're going to be using forever loops, and we are going to be using motion blocks. And if you're like, Christina, what does that mean? Don't worry. You're going to know what that means by the end of today. So if you're new, I'm going to give you a quick overview of Scratch. If you're already familiar with Scratch, jump in and share any tidbits you have for our friends who are just getting started. We'd love to share your best practices with Scratch. So with Scratch, we have blocks, all right? So with the blocks that we have here, we're going to be connecting them like Legos. We have our blocks organized into categories by color, by theme. So we see looks, sound, motion, events. So for example, looks block, we can have a character or a sprite say something to us. So our sprites are the characters, the objects. So this can be things, people that we have in our stage. So our stage is where our code comes to life. We can add sprites, which we'll be doing later on in the bottom right corner here. And we can also add backdrops. Now I have a block here that says hello. Let's actually pick someone. Who are we going to say hello to, Matt?
We've got Gene Williams in St. Louis.
Okay. Hello, Gene. I'm very excited you're here, Gene. Now, with code, we need an actual event block. So we need something that'll tell our program to run. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this when the green flag is clicked. So right now, fingers crossed, I just made a program and I need to click my green flag and let's see if it runs. Yes. Okay.
There you go.
Right. So we're starting up, folks. We got our first program. So let's actually make our butterfly garden now. Great. So I'm going to get rid of these blocks. I can do that just by grabbing them, dragging them over. They disappear. And I'm also going to get rid of Scratch the cat. He's our mascot for Scratch. That's okay. We're going to add some butterflies and I'm going to say bye. Okay. We'll have a clean slate. And we're going to start by actually adding a backdrop. So to do that, we're going to go down here into the bottom right. I'm going to click Choose Backdrop. So I'm going to add something. Let's see. Let's find a good one. Okay, I like this forest one. I'm going to use this forest one for our butterfly garden. And as you saw, there are tons of backdrops. I love the Scratch library. You can get really creative. If you want your butterflies to be in space, if you want them to be on a baseball field, personalize this project, make it your own. All right, so we've got our backdrop. So let's start with our first butterfly. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a couple butterflies, and I'm going to show you different ways that you can change the sprite, that you can make it move across the screen. So let's do this. So we need a butterfly. Let's go and add a sprite here down the bottom right. And earlier I was scrolled down to the library, or scroll down in the library to get our backdrop. This time I'm going to use the search bar and I'm just going to type in butterfly. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. So this is our first butterfly. And what we're going to start with is, like I had before, I need an events block.
Okay.
And this is like one of my personal tips. And remember, please share your Scratch tips. So I'm going to pull in a couple of my blocks first before I connect them all. So starting with our events block, then I want to get this butterfly to move. So let's see, I'm going to grab move 10 steps. And then I also had mentioned we're going to be using forever loops. So what this does is this is going to cause our code to run literally forever until I tell it to stop. So I'm going to get that in the control area.
Or your computer runs out of battery.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Luckily, I'm plugged in. All right.
Lord Dorogoth is asking, what language do you guys usually use on outside of education? I make a lot of hobby projects. I use Scratch for fun to make games, and I also use Python to make hobby projects.
Yeah, same here. I like HTML. I've been trying to learn that more just for the purpose of websites, but I also like Python. And we did a really cool project actually yesterday on one of our live streams, which you can check out, Lord, at rpf.io/home, where we used Python to create a paint app, which is actually really neat. It's a really good beginner project for anyone introducing themselves as an adult or kids to Python. So those things are really good beginner languages.
And Matt is asking about the purpose of coding, using Scratch. And I would say that the purpose of coding like this is so that you understand computational thinking, especially for young people, to understand how coding works without worrying about typing the syntax wrong.
Yeah. And there's so many things you can do with Scratch. I think first and foremost, what's really great about it is right now, all I'm using is the mouse. So it's really great for young people, especially kids with small hands who can't quite type yet, to get started with coding. And in this case, we're going to be making an animation, but I've seen folks make games, really complex, multi-level games. I've seen stories being told. There's a lot you can do with Scratch. You can also use it to actually with robotics and stuff too, which is really neat. So there's a lot of possibilities, Matt.
it does a good job. It does a good job bringing in the creative element of coding, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I connected these 3 blocks. So let's go ahead and run it and see here. Oh, okay.
Oh, bye, butterfly.
Yeah. So I didn't want that to happen. So I actually need to add some more code. So what I'm gonna do is go to motion. And right now my butterfly just moved 10 steps and just went off the screen. But actually what I want it to do, and I know there's a block to do this, is if on edge bounce. So I'm gonna stop running this and then add this code here. This is a good one. Okay, let's see. Okay.
Oh.
All right. That's been fixed, but now I have my
a new issue.
upside down. So again, and in my mind, I have not memorized all these blocks, which is why I really appreciate the organization of the themes. Right now I'm seeing that my butterfly is changing as it moves. And so I actually want to add another block. And I'm going to add a block. There's a block that I learned from a young person recently, set rotation style. So you can do this. I'm going to add this up here. And this should actually make my butterfly stay upright. So fingers crossed with me, folks. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have our first butterfly. And it is moving back and forth. It's moving a little fast. It's not as relaxing as I want it to be. So I'm going to slow it down. Let's do 6. And as we're moving through this project, you're going to see in this case, there's just one area where we can change the numbers. There's going to be more. Take some time, change it up, mix it up, have fun with this, make this project your own. And honestly, if you're making a project with butterflies in space, please let us know.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that. Okay. All right. So let's see. Oh, that's better. I like that one's moving slower. Okay. Let's add another butterfly. This is a butterfly garden. So we need multiple butterflies.
Great.
All right. So the way I'm going to do that, there's a couple of ways. We can either go back down here to our sprite library, add in a butterfly. But for the sake of time, and also because I know I'm going to be using a lot of the same code, I'm actually going to duplicate this sprite. So down here at the bottom in the sprite area, you can right click and we'll see the options of duplicate, export, delete. Don't delete. I always delete stuff. Duplicate. So I'm going to duplicate and now I have 2 butterflies. Awesome.
And so that took the code work you've done as well.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And so you'll see here, I've got butterfly 1. We've got the code there. If I click on butterfly 2, we've also got that same code. And this is a common thing with Scratch is sometimes if you add another, yes, thanks, Wolf. So if you add another sprite, you may get worried because like, oh no, my code's different or disappeared. It's like, make sure you know which sprite that you're clicked on, which one's highlighted. I want to add a different type of butterfly or change this one up. So I'm going to actually use our costumes tab, which is up here in the left. I'm going to click on costumes. And this is another great thing I love about Scratch is, yes, they provide you with sprites, but you can really make them on your own. You can have fun with it. So this is just like a paint app where we can change up how this butterfly works. So we're going to be adding a couple, or how does butterfly look? So we're going to be adding a couple butterflies during this project. So if you have any favorite colors, put them in the chat and I'll make sure to use them either with this butterfly or the next one, okay? So I'm going to do some...
And I'll keep an eye out for anyone shouting out the colors, the colors they want to see.
Yes, definitely. And if you remember from last week, I have a color palette. It's like bluish purple stuff. So I'll be leaning towards that this week as well. Okay, I think I'm feeling good about this.
I love that scheme. Nice color scheme.
Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and head back to our code. All right. Ooh, I'm seeing some color suggestions. Great.
Yeah.
I'll definitely make our next butterfly.
Coming in.
Yes. Okay, so with this butterfly, we had the first one just going across, and butterflies, they're going to be moving in different ways, right? So we're actually going to have this one move at an angle, and to do that, we need to add a block of code, luckily just one. So we're going to change how it's facing. Okay. All right, and we need the point in direction. Here we go. So I'm going to add this right under set rotation style, and I'm going to change this, and we can even see the visual, which I love. So I can change this either by typing it in or I can just use my mouse. And I'm going to change this to 45 degrees.
Christina,
Okay.
can you zoom in on your blocks a little bit on the
Oh,
with the
of
magnifying
course.
glass?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
there we go. That'll help a lot, I think.
you. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, cool. No problem. All right. Now let's run this. Oh, yay. Oh, ooh, okay. And
It's like the DVD logo, you know, when the DVD player.
oh my gosh, you're right. You're totally right. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Let's. I'm just thinking about the DVD logo.
You wait for just hit the corner like that. There you
I know,
go.
right? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Okay. Let's add a third butterfly.
Okay, so we had a good idea from the chat, from VW Merc 3. Those from who's watching on YouTube. They said it should be orange and black like a monarch.
Oh yeah.
Which is now's the season for monarch butterflies. So let's
Yes. Okay. So in this one, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making it a little bit smaller. I'm going to show you how to make it smaller and how to kind of like add depth to this scene by layering where the butterfly goes. So in this case, and this is where it starts to get a little confusing, but we've got butterfly 1, right?
Right.
Now, what's really helpful is this is highlighted. So this is, I know this code is attached to this butterfly, but you also kind of see like a little, Matt called this earlier, a ghost butterfly in this top corner, which lets you know which sprite you're working on. So we just finished with butterfly 2. Now let's work on butterfly 3. And I'm doing orange and black. So I'm going to go to costumes again. And let's get some.
While you're hunting for colors,
Yeah.
Lou is saying that it's like a screensaver, like the little
right,
moving around. Yeah. And someone's asking if you could do this with a Raspberry Pi. That's Alvaro on YouTube is asking about doing it on Raspberry Pi. Absolutely. Scratch 3 runs on Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, definitely. That's really neat. Yeah, we have Scratch on there. Let's see. I'm gonna do another. Well, actually, Matt discovered this earlier.
Yeah, I was about to say, can we use the gradient? Have fun with the gradient a little bit.
Yeah, let's do. Maybe have some red there. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's try that one. Ooh, how about that?
That looks great.
If I do say so myself, it does.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to our code. And also, like, I'm moving through this for the sake of time, but honestly, I could sit here for a long time, just like creating. And I think it's just such an important thing right now to take some time and just like have fun with art, create, like do something that makes you happy and relaxed. It's really important right now. So let's go back to the code.
And thank you, VW Merc, for shouting out orange and black like the monarch. That was a great idea.
All right. So we've got 3 beautiful butterflies. I'm going to spread these out. So like I said, this one, I'm going to make it smaller. And I'm going to do that by going to our looks blocks. And you can do this a couple of ways. We see here change size or also set size. And this is a really good example of in code, there's so many ways where you can create a program. And like, for example, Matt and I could make a really similar project and have completely different code. We could also have very similar code, but a completely different project. So it's really like pick and choose like what works for you and have fun with it.
Right.
All right. So set size. I'm gonna put this up here at the top because the order matters. That's actually like really important. So let's set this up here.
Lou says you're an artist. Absolutely. Everyone's got a little bit of artist in them, I think. You just need the empowerment, enablement for that. Hey, Gerardo, thanks for joining us on Facebook. Hi. Great to see you.
Yes, that's true. That's super, super important. That was something I used to teach, and that was just a fundamental belief of mine that everyone is an artist. Like, remember when we were kids and we like used to draw people and they actually like had muscle and like bodies, and then something happened and we started drawing them as stick figures? No. Like, go back to that artistic, just like inspiration that you had as a kid. This is why I love Scratch. It actually makes me feel like a kid again. Okay. So we've got our butterfly is going to be smaller. And I also, like I said, I wanted to give it some depth. So I'm actually going to, since it's going to be smaller, let's think of it as like it's further away. So I'm going to put it in the back. And I'm going to do that by using one of our looks blocks. Here it is. Go to layer. I'm going to change this to back. I'm going to add that here. All right, moment of truth. let's run. Ooh, okay.
There you go.
You know what I did? Does anyone realize what I did? I messed up.
What do you mean?
Can you see it? So do you see which butterfly actually got smaller?
That was the first one you made. Okay.
I did. Yes, it still works. But it's funny because we were supposed to be coding butterfly 3. So I'm actually going to move this code. I'm going to show you all a trick. So what you can do is you can take code and you can put it over. You see how there's that wiggle right there?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that and put it over here.
Buenas noches, Richard from Uruguay. Thank you for joining us on Facebook.
All right. So I'm going to fix this guy.
Daniel says he never graduated past stick figures.
Oh, Daniel, draw what you see. That's what I always used to tell students.
Yeah.
Draw what you see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's add in here. All right. Now my butterfly 3 is going to be the one.
All right.
Ah, I fixed it.
Okay. I see. Yep.
There
the butterfly looks like it's further away too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like behind. Yeah. Okay, we've got one more we are going to add. And this one we're actually going to make it, we've made the butterflies go across, made them move at an angle. In this case, this one is smaller, but also still following the same code as butterfly 2. And now we're going to use our blocks to make our butterfly move in a circle. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pause this.
Really exploring all motion, all different kinds of motion.
Yeah, this project's really, it's about forever loops and it's about the motion blocks.
Right.
And what's really neat is for a kid, when they play with this project, they're learning about how they can replicate their code and then learning the different ways to make a sprite move. And that can then be used in a future animation, a story they want to tell, a game. So I love this one because it just really helps set you up with the basics of just how to make a sprite move.
Right.
Okay.
And Lord is asking about using different frames to make it look like it's flapping its wings. I may not be able to get to that today, but that's possible, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So what's really neat about, so let's go ahead. See, so I just duplicated butterfly 3 and I have butterfly 4. So if we go to costumes again, and did we have any other color suggestions, Matt?
Oh yeah, we had a bunch. Let me go back up and see. Prism on YouTube said blue and teal.
Ooh, I like that. All right, so let's do, maybe actually even let's have that be part of our.
And thank you everyone who's leaving comments and sharing discussion. We'll try to get to everybody, but sometimes we can't get to every last bit. But
yeah,
thank you. We do appreciate the chatter. It's fun to be coding with y'all.
Would you say this is a teal, right? Am I making that up?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so here. And then, yeah, let's do that.
Hey, Dark Brave on YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
I'm going to do like the whole.
Ooh.
Nice. Who was this that suggested it?
Prism, PRSM, Prism on YouTube.
Prism? Okay, great. And to address, I think it was Lord's question.
Yes.
About, yeah, so what's really neat with Scratch is a lot of times like you'll have a sprite, but you'll have multiple costumes. So we're changing the costume of this first, like the first costume, butterfly technically 1A of 4. But you'll see here below this first one, there's a couple other ones, and there's even one that'll make the butterfly kind of look like it's flying. So that's definitely a challenge that I encourage you all to try is, I'll give you a hint. If you can go to looks, you can change up the costumes, which will help you to actually make it look like the butterfly is moving and actually flapping its wings. So thanks for that idea. And we might, if we have time, we'll try and get to it.
And the teal and blue came from City. Thank you, City, for sharing that. That's Prism, PRSM.
Thanks, City.
Everyone is admiring the gradient feature. So yeah, I'm going to be playing around with that a lot in my project.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So we've got butterfly, we've got our code here, and we've got all of our butterflies looking great. So this one, what did I say we're gonna do? Oh yeah, we're gonna make it go in a circle.
Cool.
Exactly. So first thing actually, and I'm also going to decide on like the location of my butterfly. So I'm gonna go ahead and have this butterfly start in the center.
Okay.
So to do that, there's a couple of ways I can like literally move the butterfly. But there's also a block, and that's important actually to use the block, because once your butterfly is like moving in a circle, it may not always end back in the center. So we want to
come back.
Right.
Come back home. Right.
That's
Okay.
where we want it, to start. So to do that, I'm going to need our motion blocks. And this project's, like I said, it's all about the motion blocks today. And we're going to use this block here. So go to X, Y. And what's neat about Scratch is it's on really like a grid, like a coordinate plane. So I know a lot of math teachers who will use Scratch to help understand like mathematical concepts when you start learning about the X-axis and the Y-axis. So in this case, I want it to be in the center. So I'm going to do 0, 0. I'm going to add this to the top of my code here.
So go home to the middle every time the green flag is right. Okay.
Exactly. And something I want to actually mention, because I think it's important. I didn't come up with this project. There was a moment I was gonna like keep you all thinking, like have you all think I did, but I didn't. And I want to be transparent. We did use the Butterfly Garden project. I'm just gonna switch over here really quick so you can see it. And thank you, Matt. It's putting up a link, rpf.io/DM Butterfly Garden. And so this is our project from our project library, projects.raspberrypi.org. And all of our projects are organized in a similar way. We have our title at the top, what programming language we're using, our ability, you can print it if you want. Then we've got an introduction. This is really great for both teachers and parents. It gives you a preview of the project. As you can see, mine's looking different.
Right.
That's great. That's great. What you'll need, what you will learn, that's always helpful. And then additional information for educators. So like tips and tricks for how to support students. And then here in the on the left side, we have essentially like a table of contents or your steps for how to move through this project. So you'll see like we added our butterfly, flew it like flying at an angle, a smaller butterfly, and now we're doing the round and round. And we'll check out the challenges after we finish this last butterfly and see if they have what ideas there are. So going back to Scratch. Okay, so I've added the location. Now I need to add in a motion block where, here, this one. So I'm going to use the turn degrees block. And there's 2. So I'm actually going to have mine go clockwise. You could go counterclockwise if you want. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to add this into my forever loop.
Because you're going to do it multiple times over and over and over again, right?
Exactly. So let's see what this looks like. I remember we're looking at Butterfly 4, which is like that small one. And actually, I'm going to move this one to the front. Switch it up a bit. Let's see. Let's run it.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
It's a really excited butterfly. So let's go butterfly with hiccups. Fun fact, that's what like my 8th grade teacher used to call me. She was like, you're like a butterfly with hiccups.
I've never heard that about you. We're going to start calling you that at the office.
It's a fun fact, yeah. Because I was just like high energy, and I was always just like, oh, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Probably still stands. I would still say that's true.
And shout out to Marvin following along on YouTube. Thanks for being here, Marvin. Good to see you.
Hi, Marvin! Oh, it's so good to see you.
Marvin's 6-year-old is coding along with us.
Thank you so much for joining. Oh, shout out to Marvin. Miss you, Marvin.
Yep.
So good to see you online. And thanks just in general to folks joining us. I think something Matt and I have talked about, like the thing we miss the most is getting to see you all in person. Right. So if you're new to joining or like new to the Raspberry Pi community, like we said earlier, like welcome, but like you've just joined a really big family and we're really excited to have you here. So thanks to those of you who've joined for the code, for the virtual hugs. We're so excited you're here. Yep. And let me see, we just got a shout out. Yes, I hope I'm pronouncing this name correctly. Isau? Is that correct, Marvin? Let me know.
Isau? It's great to have you here.
Yes. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Christina, you mentioned challenges.
Yeah. So, well, one thing I wanted to do was change this because this was a butterfly with hiccups, right? So to change it, I can modify the steps because what it's doing is it's moving over and it's turning. So I can slow that down and make it bigger by changing these numbers.
Okay.
So, that's better.
Oh yeah, it's a big slow circle now.
Yes. Okay. And yes, I mentioned challenges. So what's really great in the projects is at the end of our projects, we'll always have challenge like suggestions. So this here, the challenge is changing the size of some of the butterflies so that some of them appear far away, which you had done. Get creative and decorate your own butterfly costume with the tools like in Paint Editor. I went ahead and started doing that. Coloring more circles on the wings. So I was just filling in the costume in different colors, even adding more designs, because it is very similar to a paint app. You can draw in more shapes onto, we can make it look more like a monarch butterfly. And I know earlier we had, I think it was Lord who had shared, trying to make it look like your butterflies are flapping their wings. That's definitely something you can do on Scratch.
Right. And Katsunori is asking if this is a newer version of Scratch. Her son used to work on Scratch 4 years ago, but she's impressed with the new drawing feature. Yeah, this is Scratch 3. This is the newest. This is the newest, greatest. It came out not that long ago. It's got a ton of great features. It's free. It's on the web, and you can download it.
Yeah, definitely. It's really neat. And yeah, I appreciate all like the new features. And something I also love, I may have mentioned earlier, but you can, this has been on Scratch, but you can you don't just have to choose a sprite, you can upload sprites. You can upload backdrops, you can upload sprites. So for example, I've made an animation of me and my colleague Kevin flying through space. Right. I could possibly take, I have photos of butterflies in my garden, add those in here, especially once it starts to get cold in winter and I want to remember the warm summer days. You can definitely, you can have a lot of fun with Scratch.
Lord Dorogoth is suggesting making the further away ones go slower, so it seems like they're further away, and the closer ones go faster. It's like a parallax effect, like a 3D. That's a good challenge to do. That's a good challenge to do. And Wolf has all kinds of creative color ideas. I encourage you to jump into yours and add them in. And yeah,
definitely. Thanks so much for those suggestions. I think we are out of time now, but I really appreciate those ideas, and hopefully those of you at home can take some of these suggestions and make your own butterfly garden.
Absolutely. So that was awesome. Thank you so much, Christina, for showing this. I really loved letting our creativity go, and it did feel really like I was thinking about wellness a lot, with our butterfly garden. So, and I love all the ideas that everyone has to extend the project as well. It was so great to see so many of you getting involved. Marvin, Esau, Katsunori, Eddie, Lord, Wolf, City, all of you, thank you so much for being here and saying hello and having a conversation with you. I see people still chatting too. Lab T3D and Dark Brave. It was great to have you here, and we really appreciate it. So that's all the time we have for this week, but don't worry. We have another live stream next week. Same time, same place. Again, I want to thank the Infosys Foundation USA for making these special shows happen each week through October 8th. For the parents and teachers who are joining us, you can explore Infosys Foundation USA's free computing and maker education resources through the Pathfinders Online Institute, which is just below. And you can actually catch our past streams there as well. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us at Raspberry Pi Foundation's Digital Making at Home live stream. And we'll see you next week. Bye.